All right, this is Math 10 A&W with Mr. Sandhu. We are on page 36 of your Mathworks 10 workbook, and this is 1.3, example number 1. We're moving into working with percentages and decimals and converting between the two. It's something that you guys have probably already learned before. In a lot of ways, this is review, but it's such an important part of what you do in a apprenticeship or in workplace situations. So it's covered in this course again. So in this section, you're calculating percentages and converting between percents and decimals. So let's take a look here at example number 1. First, we'll pop off to the side here on the margin. It says a definition of the word percentage. Percentage is a ratio with a denominator of 100. Percent means out of 100. Literally, if you look at the word percent, it says per 100. Okay? Cent or cent in French meaning 100. Or I guess this is Latin. So percent is 100. And the reason that we have percent in the first place is because some ratios or some fractions, when you're comparing them to one another, it's hard to tell which one is a higher or lower value. As an example, if I was to ask you which one is bigger, 1 out of 2 or say 3 out of 4, it's pretty obvious. 3/4 is more than a half, okay? But some of them are not that intuitive. For instance, if you take a look at the fraction, say 36 out of 42 versus the fraction, say 77 out of 89, all right? You might not be able to tell which one of those is greater. So one of the things about having percent is by having both of these over 100, it becomes much easier for us to tell which one's bigger and compare them. That's why we have percent in the first place. It makes it into a common comparison, okay? Let's convert 36 over 42 into percent real quickly here. I'm going to take the top and divide it by the bottom, which is going to turn it into a decimal. So 36 divided by 42 gives us decimal of 0.8571. And if I was to round that up, the 7 causes the 5 to become a 6. So let's call that 0.86. And if I want to convert that to a percent, I multiply that by 100. And now I have 85.7, which is, let's call that a whole 86%. All right, so this is equivalent to 86 out of 100, or 86%. And let's see what happens with the other side here. 77 divided by 89 is 86.5 or 0.865. Let's multiply that by 100 to convert a decimal into percent. So it's 86.5. Let's call that an 87. Okay? So you can see now that this one on the side, on the right-hand side, is greater by a small margin. But in original questions, it was very difficult how to see which one was greater. Okay? That is the whole purpose of having percentages in our lives. Okay? Now, how do we convert? Well, you saw me do it already in some sense, but let's just do this example real quick. It's saying convert 65% to a decimal. So that's, you saw me convert a fraction into a decimal, and that's one of the ways we can do this. So let's actually convert this 65% into something that's a fraction. So 65%, yeah, is 65, and this line means per, and then cent means 100, so 65% is 65 out of 100, okay? And if you were to then divide those, you would get your decimal. So 65 divided by 100 equals 0.65, okay? That is now a decimal, okay? That's pretty straightforward stuff. So take your percentage, put it over 100, and then divide the top by the bottom to get a decimal form of that percent. Okay? That's what we're doing in example 1. Thank you very much, and I hope that this has been a really, truly, deeply stimulating and exciting lesson.